Please remain standing and join me in our words and song of affirmation. The words are on the screens. Love is the doctrine of this congregation. The quest for truth is its sacrament, and service is its prayer. To dwell together in peace, to seek knowledge in freedom, to serve human need, this we do affirm and covenant with each other. Thank you. You may be seated. And I invite Rebecca Smith to join for a VEACH program testimonial.
Good morning. Diane Lombardi was not able to be here today, so she asked me, Rebecca Smith, to fill in. I am one of the governors of the VEACH program, and I'm here to invite you all to VEACH Sunday, which is 1 week from today on Sunday, January 26th. VEACH Sunday is a beloved and long-standing Shelter Rock tradition. It is a wonderful opportunity for UUCSR members to meet grantees of our congregation's National Social Justice Funding Program. We will be welcoming Marissa Torona, President of Grantmakers Concerned with Immigrants and Refugees, to deliver the sermon at Sunday worship. She will speak from the pulpit about our shared humanity and how philanthropic programs and grassroots organizations are standing together to protect the rights of immigrants and refugees, especially at this time. Marissa is nationally known as a leader for justice, inclusion, and solidarity. Then, after lunch at 1 p.m., we will hold the VEACH annual meeting. We are trying a new format this year, featuring interactive conversations with VEACH grantees. Marissa Torona and grantees from Green Faith and the New York Communities Organizing Fund will talk about their work on immigration, climate justice, and social justice efforts here on Long Island. You will have the opportunity to be in a small group conversation with the VEACH grantee, along with other congregation members and VEACH staff, to discuss the powerful ways VEACH puts our faith and values into action. One of the things I enjoy about VEACH Sunday as a member of this congregation is knowing that our congregation supports organizations whose members are incredibly dedicated, energetic, and impassioned in their crusade for social justice. We look forward to a very special VEACH Sunday 1 week from today. On behalf of the VEACH Board of Governors, I hope each of you will join us for service and for the afternoon discussion groups with VEACH grantees. Everyone is welcome. Please come and bring a friend. If you have any questions, I or any of the VEACH Board Governors would be happy to speak with you after the service. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Every Sunday, we have the opportunity to practice generosity, one of our shared values. This month's offering, we provide support to Kerrison, the Central American Refugee Center. Kerrison advocates for just, equitable laws and policies that protect and empower immigrants and reflect the value they add to our communities across Long Island, New York, and the entire country. Please give as you are able, and please give generously. Ways to give are included in your order of service and also on the screen. As we think about generosity in this community, would you please join me in singing "From You I Receive," hymn number 402.
From
Following this meditation, you are invited to light a candle for a joy, for a sorrow, for a prayer, whatever is on your heart. A song that you may know well, and one that I cherish, is Spirit of Life by Carolyn McDade. Throughout her life, McDade has been an activist and organizer for peace, economic justice, environmental protection, the rights of women, and the rights of migrant workers, prisoners, and refugees. Following an organizing meeting for Central American solidarity in the early 1980s, McDade told a fellow organizer, quote, "I feel like a piece of dried cardboard that has lain in the attic for years. Just open wide the door and I'll be dust." I was tired, she said. Not with my community, but with the world. Later that evening, in that exhaustion, McDade says that she found her piano, and Spirit of Life was her prayer. "May I not drop out," she prayed, asking for the faith to continue in her work. She refers to the song not as a hymn, but as a living prayer. Today, I see this song differently than I have before. Like McDade, this is my plea for strength, my plea for renewal. Today, as we honor the life, work, dreams, and prayers of Dr. King, I'm praying, Spirit of Life, be with me. Tomorrow, as our country engages in the difficult work of a living democracy, I'm praying, Spirit of Life, be with us. As I watch Los Angeles burning, I pray, Spirit of Life, be with them. In a few moments following our candle lighting, we will sing Spirit of Life. I invite you to meditate on these words, and if it is a part of your practice, I invite you to pray.
Now and always, we need to cultivate, to understand for ourselves our own connection to the thing that keeps us grounded, that gives us the roots, the spiritually deep roots that we need to feel connected to each other, to our values, to our purpose, to our dreams and our visions for the future. And we need something that will give us the wings, the power, the hope that we need to rise up and to meet the needs of where our world is calling us. For now, at this moment, and always, as always, we stand at the threshold of a new day. At the threshold of a new day in our own lives, in all that you carry in your own personal lives and that you have going on, and yes, at the threshold of a new day for this country. A continuation of where it has come from. And I'll say what I know that many of us are thinking. The atmosphere is heavy and anxious and uncertain. And it may feel like we are about to slide backwards. It may feel like we may lose some of the progress that we have made. It may feel like divisions are becoming wider. It may feel as though the chapter of our new day has already been written. And yet, for all of us, we have a dream. And we remember that even in times of uncertainty, resilience blooms in the lives of ordinary people, of you, of everyone. Think of parents rocking their children to sleep in the midst of personal or national struggle, as they always have done. Parents rocking their children to sleep, whispering stories of hope for their future during the Depression. Loving them, as there is nothing else that we can do for our children. Think of neighbors sharing what little they have with each other, of teachers igniting curiosity in young minds, of artists using their voices to sing us back to ourselves, to our dream, to who we are meant to be. These daily acts of love and courage that we all cultivate in our lives. Acts of love. The places where we come from, where we are moved to change the world with our love. These daily acts of love and courage are as much a part of the future chapters of this country, of America. They are as much a part of our story as our grand speeches and historical events and whatever may happen. This is the core, is the start, is the root of reclaiming power, of making the dream become real, not as domination, but as connection, compassion, and the determination to stand on each other's shoulders, on the shoulders of those who have come before, and reach down to push each other up so that we can reach down and get a hold of that moral arc of the universe that is meant to bend towards justice because we make it so. Langston Hughes reminds us, America never was America to me, and yet I swear this oath, America will be. His words are not just a lament for what never was. They are a declaration. Much like Dr. King's dream, no one person, no tyrant, no politician owns this story of America. No one owns that. It belongs to the people who live the dream, who strive towards the dream, who love each other every day, who love it into being. So I ask you, in moments of despair, as today or any time, when things feel overwhelming, what helps you to remember the bigger picture? What reminds you of what you love, of what must be loved? What keeps you grounded in hope? When I was in seminary studying to become a minister, I often sought out opportunities to put my values into action. Sometimes the ways that we put our values into action are by direct service or by showing up in our communities and offering something to people who need it, and by building a relationship with those people, by getting to know them. We may offer assistance or help that is physical and tangible, but we are also offering connection and relationship. Well, I remember one of the things that I was inspired to do was to grow a garden at the divinity school where I went, and the food from that garden was given to a local food pantry that we would then cook it and turn it into some meals and serve it to people who needed food, who were food insecure. It felt good for me to be a part of something where I was actively addressing a need. But I had this feeling, and maybe you've had this feeling when you've engaged in direct service, that no matter how much you do, no matter how many meals I prepared, that how much food we grew, the need never disappeared. There were always more people showing up who needed food. And one evening, as I was doing this, I confided to my mentor, who I was with. I told her that I felt hopeless by this situation. I didn't know if what I was doing made a difference. It's not enough, I told her. We're not fixing anything. What are we doing? In her infinite wisdom, she looked at me and she smiled gently and she said, "You're right. Maybe not. Maybe we're not doing anything. Maybe we're not solving the problem. But remember, every carrot you grow, every meal that you hand out reminds someone that they are not invisible." That's love in action. That is what your love looks like in action. You are growing food for those people. You are serving them. You are gathering with them around a table and getting to know them. That is love in action. And it matters. If you can keep showing up with love, you will find the wisdom and the power to do more, and you will inspire others to do more. That moment stayed with me, has really informed everything that I do, has reminded me that love, even when it feels small, even when it feels like it is not enough, it can, it will, it must shift something profound, not just in the people that you are offering your love to, but in yourself, in ourselves. So I ask you on this day to think, who in your life has shown up for you with small but profound acts of love? And how might you be moved by that love to show that to others? On this day, when we remember Dr. King, we should also remember his words. Specifically this, when he said that power without love is reckless and abusive, and love without power is sentimental and anemic, he called it. This presents a tension for us that we must wrestle with, my friends. This tension is present in every moment that we move towards justice. Love alone, without structure, strategy, or action, collaboration, can feel good, but perhaps accomplish little, at least on paper. And power alone, disconnected from compassion, disconnected from love, can become destructive. Langston Hughes names this tension when he wrote, "America never was America to me." He names the pain of exclusion, of promises unfulfilled. And yet Hughes does not abandon the dream in his words and in his life. He declares America will be. Over and over again in his poem, he calls us to hold on to that hope, to act on it, to write a new story, a better story. What does America will be mean to you? What is your dream? What is your vision for the story that we are writing together? Dr. King also once told a story about his work in Montgomery during the bus boycotts. And in his direct actions of nonviolent resistance that he used. In a conversation with Roy Wilkins, who is the longtime leader of the NAACP, Wilkins challenged Dr. King on his nonviolent resistance, on his work, and he said, "Your boycott, although it may have grabbed a lot of people's attention, it didn't desegregate a single bus, Martin. It was legal action that did that." King replied, "We're fully aware of that, Roy. And here, in our group, we believe that it's going to have to be a partnership between nonviolent direct action and legal action if we're going to get the job done." When pressed further on what actual change his action really resulted in, King finally said, "You know, I guess you're right. I guess about the only thing I've desegregated so far is a few human hearts." Wilkins nodded, and he said, "Yes, I'm sure you have done that, and that is important. So keep on doing it. I'm sure that it will help the cause in the long run." This exchange reminds us that the work of justice happens in courts, yes, in legal systems, in legislatures, in legislative bodies, in executive offices, yes, and it can be changed in real ways, quickly sometimes. But it also happens in relationships, in small communities, in local communities that resonate out to national communities. Changing hearts, my friends, is not a secondary task to the legal action. It is essential. It is an essential piece of building a just world. What we build in our hearts, in our communities, reflects out. And yes, it must be informed by the real action too. So I ask you, where in your life might you work to desegregate hearts, to desegregate your own heart, to bridge divides, to build connection, to act from a place of an open, loving heart? Cornel West said that justice is what love looks like in public. Perhaps you've heard that before. But we may ask, what does that look like for us today? I say that it begins with small, consistent acts of connection, the kind of love that feeds those in need, the kind of love that comforts the grieving, the kind of love that builds trust, the kind of love that sings us back to our dreams, the kind of love that fills our bellies and makes us feel nourished and whole, that gives us the strength we need. Love in public also demands power, organizing, advocating, and speaking truth to systems that harm. So how can we do these things? How can we? Here's how you can. Individually, as people, share your story. Find someone to connect with. Call a friend or a neighbor or a relative and talk about with them your dreams for love for this country. Talk about what justice looks like, what it means to you. Talk. Vision. Talk about where we are going. Do not be silent. Create a plan. Invite them to do the same. Practice listening, especially with those you might disagree with. Deeply. Listen, really listen and learn. And communally, together as people, as a congregation, we can deepen our commitment to being a beloved community. So I ask us to talk more about how we can do that. To ask, what would it look like for us to center love in every decision that we make? To really critically ask ourselves that question. How are we doing that? And to create spaces where that is alive and palpable. How can we do that? And as a society, as a larger group, yes, advocate for policies that reflect compassion and equity. Write letters, make the calls that you need to do, and show up for the things that matter. Remember, as Hughes wrote, we the people must redeem the land, the mines, the plants, the rivers, and make America again. So what is one step you can take this week as an individual, as a part of this community, and as someone who inhabits this wider world, to bring love into the public sphere, to make it palpable in relationships, to make it palpable and real not only in laws, but in your interactions with others? And what can you do to remind yourself that that matters? Hughes dreamed of an America redeemed by the power of its people. And so did King. Decades later, Amanda Gorman stood at the inauguration of President Biden and Kamala Harris and declared, "For there is always light, if only we're brave enough to see it, if only we're brave enough to be it." Hughes wrote in a time of despair. King wrote in a time of struggle, calling us to imagine hope, to imagine the dream. Gorman spoke at a moment of hope, only 4 years ago, urging us still to act with courage, reminding us, all of these voices, that the story of justice is long, unfinished, and ours to write. And through it all, we must return again and again to Hughes' refrain. America never was America to me, and yet I swear this oath: America will be. Today, tomorrow, in 4 years. Through our actions, through the ways that we make love real in the public sphere and in our lives and in our hearts. Through the hard work that we put in, let us all swear this oath: America will be, over and over again. So hold on to your seats. As we prepare to go out into the world and meet its challenges with an open heart, I want to take us out of our service similar to how I brought us in. And I'm going to recite for us the words of Amanda Gorman's poem, The Hill We Climb. Let these words remind us that love and power joined together can transform not only our hearts but our world. And let it call us to be the light, to write the story of justice, and to hold fast to the dream of what can be, of what must be. She wrote, "When day comes, we ask ourselves, where can we find light in this never-ending shade? The loss we carry, a sea we must wade. We've braved the belly of the beast. We've learned that quiet isn't always peace. In the norms and notions of what just isn't always justice. And yet, the dawn is ours before we knew it. Somehow, we do it. Somehow, we've weathered and witnessed a nation that isn't broken, but simply unfinished. But that doesn't mean we are striving to form a union that is perfect. We are striving to forge our union with purpose, to compose a country committed to all cultures, colors, characters, and conditions of man. And so we lift our gazes not to what stands between us, but what stands before us. We lay down our arms so we can reach out our arms to one another. We seek harm to none and harmony for all. Let the globe, if nothing else, say this is true. That even as we grieved, we grew. That even as we hurt, we hoped. And even as we tired, we tried. That we will forever be tied together, victorious. Not because we will never again know defeat, but because we will never again sow division. Scripture tells us to envision that everyone shall sit under their own vine and fig tree, and no one shall make them afraid. No one shall make them afraid. If we are to live up to our own time, then victory won't lie in the blade, but in all the bridges we've made. That is the promise to Glade. The hill we climb, if only we dare it. Because being American is more than a pride that we inherit. It's the past we step into and how we repair it. But while democracy can be periodically delayed, it can never be permanently defeated. In this truth, in this faith, we must trust. For while we have our eyes on the future, history has its eyes on us. This is the era of just redemption. We feared it at its inception. We did not feel prepared to be the heirs of such a terrifying hour. But within it, we found the power to author a new chapter, to offer hope and laughter to ourselves. Whoa, while we once asked, how could we possibly prevail over catastrophe? Now we assert, how could catastrophe possibly prevail over us? We will not march back to what was, but move to what shall be. A country that is bruised but whole, benevolent, but bold, fierce, and free. We will not be turned around or interrupted by intimidation because we know our inaction and inertia will be the inheritance of the next generation. Our blunders become their burdens. But one thing is certain. If we merge mercy with might and might with right, then love becomes our legacy, and change our children's birthright. So let us leave behind a country better than the one we were left. We will rebuild, reconcile, and recover in every known nook of our nation. In every corner called our country, our people, diverse and beautiful, will emerge battered and beautiful. When day comes, we step out of the shade, aflame and unafraid. The new dawn blooms as we free it. For there is always light. For there is always light, if only we're brave enough to see it. If only we're brave enough to be it. May we have the courage to see the light, to be the light, and to write the next chapter together.